Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is the video number 3 of our database management system. Basically, Sqlite DataBase, this app. Now we have created the database and we added successfully in the previous video as well, which becomes saved then, and we saved it properly, and we just saw that we had some rows there. And if you give it a go and see that, okay. Now if you look at it here, we say add, just clear everything, and we put up something. Say for example, Jose, and he got the address as Pamina. Then we got email, for example, Uzi at the rate of yahoo.com. If I left anything, so it will not work. For example, say save, it will say please fill the empty field, and I'm putting up here, say for example, mobile number 9897522421, something like that. I don't know what. Then I say save, he says save, and he come up with a row created in a second because it was already, the row created was already first row was created. Okay, so if I create, and this change to the add, so if I say add again, it clears up and you can add up the new things. But in the beginning, when it comes up, say for example I close this app and I come back to the my data. Now if you look at it, if you, in the beginning, I want the first row should come up automatically. That's what my point is. Okay, so for that, what I do is I go to the main activity. Okay, and here when I say on create, for example, okay, I have got already this thing as database manager data man, and now on create I have created this data manager this, and I'm opening it and closing it and all that. But what I do is I just call here the init data, means initialized data. For example, I call this method, let me create this method, create method init data. Okay, I will do all of these things. I say here cut, I will do all of these things into this init data. Where is that? Okay, here is this init data. I say paste. I will do all of this thing in this method init data, where I will basically do what? I will create an object, okay, of my class of my data manager, okay, of the class data manager, which is this my data manager, right? And I will open it, and then what I do is I will have here a content value, and I call the data man dot get data, for example, get data base, for example, I'm saying. Okay, now this is the method which will be in my my data manager, like we had here the set database method, right, which we did yesterday. And now we are having a get database method, which is going to be there, and a CV is a content value. That means it will pack up the things and put up the things into the CV. Okay, and from here, using this CV, I will put things into the into my into my buttons, into my buttons. Like I got the ET ID, I got ET name, I got ET address, and all that. Okay. Okay. So let us see how we do that. So first of all, let me create this content value. Create field CV. I've created outside, so let me call the field without a local value. It's saying object, but I should say it is the content value. Okay, so create the content value. We got a bundle of things. So let it be content value CV. also need to create that method now. What is that? So I need to create this method, create method get database. Let me first save it so the content value is saved. Okay, create method get database. Now we got to get database, it returns the content value. This is what I want. So like here I'm going to set database, it returns the long because this insert returns the row number, and this one will pack what is in the database in a row into the content values, and then we will pass that back. Okay, we pass here, we'll return here the CV that will go into this CV where I had called it. Let me put it on the last content. Let me put it here. Okay. And here the CV will have the stuff in it. Okay, and I can pull down from the CV the things. Okay, and then set up my my text boxes. Like I say, one of the edit texts is my ID. That is perhaps ed id, yeah, dot set text. And what else? I will get the things from the where from I get that things? I will get it from the CV dot get as string, and where from I need those keys which will be there. That should be common. The keys should be the ID, capital ID, but the thing is I don't have the ID here, right? So we have to create the constant ID, which will come up here. Private static final string ID, but it says null, but it should have the same thing which is here, right? So let me copy paste actually those things. Like we have the ID, we have name, address, and all that. Let me copy these guys, copy, and I will paste it here. Let me do it here. Paste it here. Okay. Got ID, we got this, and just clear this. So I have these ID, name, address, email, phone, which actually tells us which column is in the table. That's ID, name, address, and email. So they must be in a CV. Okay, which I will get it from the CV. I will get it from the get databases, which will be copied the same CV from there, copied here. So it should have the same this stuff. Okay. So then I would say control all this 1 2 3 4 5 for example, and this is the name, and I got here the capital N and name. Then we got here the address and address. Similarly, we got here after the address, we got email perhaps. We got here the email. Okay, then different with phone, and we'll get here phone. Okay, so I'm saying I am putting up the content values there and getting it back. Now this part is on this part we have the perfect thing, which is which will get initialize our data. That means create the object and open the database, and then call the get database, which is in the data manager, and so data man.get database to say and get that whatever is get from the get database, put that in the CV. That means it returns the content value, and then extract the content value accordingly. It should have the same those keys. Okay, and then then populate your text boxes, and then at the end close your database. Now save it. Okay, now we have to go to the this part. which says that you have to return the content values here, right? So on this part, we have to do something so that we can return our content value. So already we have CV on the top, okay, or we could create a local value CV. That is our choice. So we should basically create a local value CV, right? We should create a local because that should not have the so of type content values. That will be CV. Okay. Now I have to get things from the database, right? I have to get things from the database. That's a bit uh, stuff we have to do. And first of all, how we get the things from the database is we need create an object of a cursor. So cursor is the guy which will get the things from the database, and then we will query the MDB. I mean the database object, which is here. Like here, we queried the database object sdb.insert. Similarly, we'll say here, for example, sdb.query. Okay. Now, if we go to the third one here, which has, if you look at it, the parameters are the first thing to the table, second things are the columns, then there are selections, then selection order, then group by, all those having class, order by class, and limit, and all that thing. And what it returns is a cursor. This is the main thing. When you call the sdb.query, it returns a cursor object which is positioned before the first entry. So we have to do a lot of things here. So first of all is, if you say sdb.query, for example, if you click this sdb.query, for example, the first thing is the table. We have a table, and second thing is columns. So the column is not just a one column here, we have a many columns. So therefore what I do is I will create here a string array, okay, of type call equals to new string, okay, string, new string, and into this string that will be like array equal into this string what you put up is like what columns you have. You create those values. You say ID comma name comma address address comma email comma phone. Okay, these are the guys, and these are already the constants being defined here. Name, address. I'm putting up those things as the column. So internally, it's telling about these columns, which are actually in our table. Like we have here the constant, but actual value there is ID, name, address, email, phone in a small letters. And I'm making the same array. I'm making the array here, string array called call. Okay, or you can say column simply. Column. I'm putting the same array column, okay, right? And let me call it S as columns, so to match up this thing. Okay. Now this columns, I'm putting on these columns here. I'm creating a string columns here, which is of type string, and it has these guys. So it returns these addresses. What will happen by that is we will have our controversy, okay, but what is the thing is here, sdb.query is the main thing, which will actually does what? It will query the table with whatever columns you want to fetch, and then you have a selection. I'm putting on everything null because I don't want any kind of selection. I want everything. I want this time everything from the table. This is when you want a particular guy, group bys and having classes and all that. but I don't need all those guys. I'll put up here null, null, null. Okay. Where's the cursor? Put everything as null. Okay. Now we have putting everything as a null here, but this sdb.query returns a cursor, right? So it should return a cursor. So we say here cursor c equals to whatever sdb.query. Now this cursor c will be used, um, um, well, this cursor c is basically used. Wait a second, what's happening with this cursor? Okay, now cursor, this C is a cursor which will, if we move like C dot move to first, it will go to the first record, C dot move to last, move next, and so on. So this C will be used to fetch the data where I have to go left, right, top, the first record, last record, and all that. So SDB query will get the table, and with its columns, what are the columns you want? I want to say all the columns. These all columns I want. So that means SDB query prepares a table for fetching, and C is the guy which row you want to fetch. That is the C will tell us. Okay. Now we had a lot of work here, but now on I will do simply because I want my data to be loaded on the first time. Okay. Then I have to bundle that into the CV. Okay. And then send it to the CV. So first of all, I will bundle it cv.put. Okay, and what I put into the ID. Okay, what else you will put into the ID? Okay, what else you will put into the ID is uh, the c dot get string. Okay, but if you say c dot get string, but you need for example the integer values here. Now I did a lot of changes here in the app. The first thing is I installed my uninstalled the app. Okay, and it was showing error because in the beginning, when I say get databases, if I say here in main activity initialize, because in the this on create I was saying init data, and initialize data was basically calling the data get database and return the CV. And if there was nothing there, okay, uh, uh, if there was no database, for example, it will have an error. So what we do is we create a seeder move first. Now I did also these changes here. Get the ID, get column index. I create an integer variable I and AEP, which gets me the column index of ID, name, address, email, phone, and I load that into the I and A, E, and P. That I will put up into the cv.put ID, then c to get string I and get it into the ID, then c to get string n, get into the name. What get string does, it needs an index. So that index is where I get column index here. I could have said 0, 1, 2 or so on as well, there's no problem. But here it's a proper way of doing things. See, whatever the column index of ID is, put that into the I, column index of name is, put that into the N. Or you could have said c.getString I, that's the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's one and the same thing. So you do this way, or you do simply here c.getString of 0, c.getString of 1, and so on. Okay, but in this way it gives properly what is the column index of the particular guy and put that here. Okay, but I'm saying I have to make the cursor, when you create the cursor and you put up with the columns, it's with the negative one. It's not with the zero row. So first tuple, if you want to access the first tuple, you have to get a cursor to the move first. Otherwise, it will show the error again, and it returns the boolean. If there is a data, it will return true. If there is no data, if there is no row, such row, for example, the table is empty, it returns false. So you don't have in the flag will have false. So if flag means if flag is true, okay, then you will bundle up the ID. Into the ID you will get the what is at the column value 0, because you have on the first row. What is at the 0, because I is 0, right? What is there, what is this value there, the string? Put that into the ID and similar into the name, address, email, phone, and bundle that and return CV. Otherwise you return null. So that's what I do here. If the CV is not null, that means there was a row. You will just populate your text boxes, and then you will close. Okay, let me save this and let me give it a go. Basically, I uninstalled the app and I installed again, and then put up two tuples there, right? We have two tuples this time in my database. Let's finish it. Let me run it like this. Now in the beginning you see the Junaid is coming up, okay, and we got the next record, because if I click this next, it should go to the next record. If I add here third, for example, Zaif, okay, then I say address is Shah Asil colon, in fact is from Bimana. Anyways, email is Huzi @ of my.com, whatever, and mobile number is 999089765, whatever. Save it. We got the third row, right? We got a row created third. Now question is, if we go to the next, we go to the first, we go to this. Only thing is we need we need to make the cursor, but we need to identify the buttons there. Which buttons? According to the button, we will have to move first or move last or move beginning or whatever. And clear will clear the stuff. We have that, right? So this is a kind of app, completing the app. Now we will do that in the next video. Until then, masalam.